It's lovely to be sitting beside such amazing entrepreneurs today. I'm Srishti and I had partnerships at Women Innovator and I'll be moderating the panel today. So to start with the panel, as we talk about Women Ki Baat, Revenue Ke Saath. So with that note, I'll start my first question to Shelly ma'am. Shelly ma'am, Fix Derma has built such a strong brand in such a competitive skincare industry. We all know it. How do you ensure the product quality and the trust while scaling up? And what were the key moments when you realized that you are on the path of sustainability, or was it just the idea from the beginning?
See, sustainability is a very long-term goal. So let me give you a brief about Fix Derma. So we are a 15-year-old brand. We started selling through dermats. That's how we started our journey, long back in 2010. And we are present right now among 15,000 dermats, pan-India. More than, I think, 12,000 dermats pan-India are prescribing our products.
Wow, that's lovely.
Yes. And we are also present in other 3 verticals, which are online, on all marketplaces, and exporting to more than 32 countries right now. And we are also present on the counters through pharmacies and retail channels.
Well, I think that deserves an applause, for sure.
And we are almost selling 20 lakh units per month.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, of different products. So, and you know, as the name suggests, Fix Derma. So the intent is in the name itself, fixing your derm, fixing your skin. So I believe for us, sustainability is like, you know, whatever we claim on our products, we deliver it.
While we are at the topic of beauty and skincare industry, I'd like to put my next question to Dr. Blossom Kochhar. I want to know that, you know, how sustainable practices are at the heart of your brand and still you stay ahead of the industry and relevant in today's time. While I've heard stories from my mothers using your brands and products, and I'll tell you, she's old.
She's a cult, actually.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everybody. And I must say thank you so much for inviting me to be here. And also to see all these wonderful ladies and, of course, gents also over here. And it's really wonderful. I grew up on a coffee plantation and among nature, and also I studied in the Nilgiris again, and that again was all nature. So I was always interested in nature. The sustainability came through is I always believed that, you know, beauty is something that is very holistic. It has nothing to do with outer beauty or your makeup or something. It has to do with your mind. It has to do with your physicality and emotions. So it is the whole thing that goes together. And if I had to put in a product, and of course when I started there was Charmis and Pond's, so I had to get a product ready. And if I had to put in a product, I had to see that it was all natural. And what better than picking up from your kitchen and then adding things to it. And that's really how I got into this.
While we are at this topic of beauty, we've spoken about like skincare, we have spoken about makeup, the inner beauty, and next what comes to my mind is the attire, the fashion that we carry as women or even as men. These days we are seeing a lot of progression in terms of men's fashion as well. So my next question is to Ms. Mandy Mehra, who is the founder of Study by Chanak. I want to ask you, ma'am, Study by Chanak is practically a landmark. We were talking before the panel also started that every bride and groom has stepped at least once in that store to see that they want to look the best on their D-Day. But other than that, the fashion is always ever evolving. I want to ask you, how do you keep your designs fresh, trendy, and consistently stunning with the mindset of Gen Z that is constantly changing and needing some or the other change? What has been your entrepreneurial journey in terms of your particular brand?
Our brand has been now over 30 years old now. When it was launched, it was an all-men's brand, but then around 20 years back, I started the women vertical also along with the men. And the word you used is consistent. It is like, to be able to be successful, I guess one has to be very consistent, where hard work and your passion for work is there. Then you have to keep the brand ethos always in mind. You have to be very consistent about that. And you have to be consistent about all the ever-changing fashion trends also, along with being aware of all the changing fashion scenario, because the silhouettes, the basic fabrics, I would stay overall, and the embroidery techniques still stay the same, but yet there's a lot of evolvement of the silhouettes and the other fashion sensibilities which people want. So one has to be abreast of that all the time, yet keeping the ethnicity and the cultural factor on. And because after all, we are a deeply traditional country. So the root has to be kept in mind, yet one has to be very open to the new technologies and keep on researching on how to evolve yourself even better.
While we're talking about changing things from within, your brand So Fresh, I think, does that very, very rightly. So I want to ask you that you've entered one of the most competitive and price-sensitive industry, where we focus on good food products, kind of an idea of a farm-to-table concept, or, getting fresh, eating healthy. Yet in no time, So Fresh has made its way to the top grocery stores and international markets. What's your secret to thrive such a tough space and maintaining this top quality in your products?
Yeah, so I'm very happy you asked me this question, because after all, to enter a field where it's male-dominated is quite a tough job. So we have to break all these barriers. And when I started, I'll just tell you a little bit, they said, "Ye ladki kya farm chalayegi?" It started with that, everyone around. See, I had full support of my family, thank God, of my husband, my kids. But then the outside people, maybe even my employees, they would just look at me, dekhte hain kitne din tak, she will sustain there. But then it's all about sustainability, I guess. So you have to work hard towards it. And being a sustainable farmer, an organic farmer myself, first step is that for sustainability, I guess, is you have to make your people discover your brand. So, अगर लोगों को पता ही नहीं है आपके brand के बारे में, so what will they go in for? There are hundreds of brands. So for that, you have social media nowadays. You have a good digital marketing companies. You can take help of them. And so these kind of things will help you get over the challenges. And also, you need to be consistent with your quality, time, and again and again and again. People should get the same kind of quality, and you have to work hard at it. It just doesn't happen overnight. Brand दिखता है कि हाँ आज ये है, but then the hard work that has gone behind it, and that is there. It shows up in many years, after many years of dedicated hard work.
But moving forward, I would also want to ask you, ma'am, and then move forward with my fellow panelists. I'm sure it's not easy. There has been some struggles. There would have been something that the challenges were, like taking you down at some point of time. How did you manage? What, if you'd like to tell my audience that these were the kind of challenges that you faced, I think that will give them a massive, massive experience.
I think out of 365 days, only 5 days are there where you are happy and contented. Rest 360 days, you are not happy with what you are doing. You always feel so unfulfilled, never fulfilled, and you think you have to do a better job. So that, that validation is always required. Challenges, I think, is a small word. You are like, you have something going on every single day. You have such a big team, something on the human resource side, something on the finance side, something on the inventory side. I think there's not a single day where everything goes smooth. So it's full of challenges.
Thank you. I'd now like to ask a similar question to Komal ma'am, Dr. Komal. Is there anything like a day that you could go back in your life and change it completely, and what day would that be?
So I don't think there is a day like that. because I love my work. It's my passion. And let me tell you a little bit about how I started.
Yes, ma'am.
So I started doing everything for myself, like growing organically and all, since I was a child, because we always had farmlands and everything used to come from there. So my grandmom and all, they used to, to eat always fresh. And then I started 32 years ago. I started with my own farms, my own farming after I got married. And then eventually in 2018, I found it so fresh. It just happened accidentally. My husband is into a totally opposite business of chemicals and everything, refractories. And I started going because I wanted to do something with myself. But I just couldn't do anything there. I would go into the pantry, ये साफ नहीं है, यहाँ पे पौधा लगाओ, oxygen आएगा. You know how green fingers were working there also. So one day, my husband and my son, they took me to the conference room. They said, this is your space. If you want to do something, please do from here. सारा staff हिल गया, सब छोड़ के भाग जाएंगे. And you're good at the farm only. This one line said it all. I took it seriously. And I started developing more, cultivating more variety and everything over there. And so I used to send whatever used to come from the farm to all my relatives, because farm se truck bhar bhar ke sabzi aati hai. Mother Nature is very kind. It keeps growing and giving you in bulk and bulk. So we didn't know how to use it all, so we would send it to. Then I used to see how they would just waste it. This thing free ka hai, you know how it is. Then I would explain to them, this is chemical free. This is chemical free. Don't waste it. Bazaar se aap laaye, usme dawaiyan hai. They will harm you. I studied all of this, somehow I was very fond. So then still they would not. Then 1 year I did not send them. Broccoli, asparagus, everything, whatever exotics also we would. Then they started calling me. Sabji nahi aayi, sabji nahi aayi. And it came out of my mouth, now you will have to pay for it. Because I was like, कि free में तो नहीं दूंगी, because I'm into Reiki and meditation myself. उसमें बोलते हैं कुछ भी free में नहीं लेना चाहिए, उसकी value नहीं होती है. So that just struck me, So then I started, then biggest question came from my mother-in-law, being into a Jain Marwari family, She said, I used to keep trying doing something of my own, just for my own satisfaction. And she said, अब तुम सब्जी बेचोगी. She could not get over it. She was like, ab tum sabji, like yahi baki reh gaya, kind of thing. I said, yeah. And she was very embarrassed if I would send it somewhere and take the money. And, she would like, why do you want to sell it? She tried to. But I will tell you, today, she's so proud of me, so proud of doing this work. She tells me, Mary friend, she's 89 years old, by God's grace. She'll be turning 90 this year, and she tells me, "Meri friends ke yahan tum sabji bhej do." I said, "No, we'll send some silver something. Is there some?" "नहीं, उनको तो यही खाना है बस. Please send all." I feel so good, and the encouragement that I get from this. So the question that you asked me was for the
what was the struggles that you faced?
The struggles, yeah. So the struggle came in, in the form of cultivating. I didn't want to use any urea and everything. So how to protect that chemical free? So slowly we had our own cows, and then I learned. I'm an avid traveler, globetrotter myself. Wherever I would go, I would take appointments with these farmers. New Zealand, Iceland, here. I would learn their techniques of farming. And the Desi villages. I'm from Chennai. I can speak fluent Tamil and few more languages I know. So I would go to the locals and, ask them the secrets. They're very hesitant. They don't want to give you the secrets. Slowly, I will sit with them on their cart and tell me, please बताइए ना इसको कैसे करना है, दीमक लग रही है, I don't want to put. Then slowly they come up, and once they open out, they will give you everything. They are selfless. They're ready to come and work with you at the farm. So then, this is one struggle which I had, which I faced like this by communicating. And then, of course, there was a thing like, it's my passion. So then I read this book called Ikigai. I just follow that book blindly. So that says that if you have a purpose in life, then you have to work towards it. And the profits is a bypass thing, which will just automatically follow. So I kind of found my purpose in life, and I work towards it. And there's a lot of hard work, everything, but I just enjoy every day, every moment.
Well, the time for the panel's up, but I'd like to ask one last question, very quick, ma'am, 30 seconds, Vandy, ma'am. If there's one advice that you would want to give to entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, what would that be, like in one single statement?
I think all of us, the advice which all of us can put across even without saying it anymore is passion. One has to choose and pick up what you want to do with your life, what you're totally passionate about, and you love doing it. Only then it just doesn't seem like work. You enjoy.
But I think with passion, you also need resilience a lot. You have to stay put. Even if you are passionate, but just keep doing it again and again.
Not give up.
Because you shouldn't give up, yeah. So resilience is also very important.
I believe that where you do something, if you can do something that's going to help a lot of people or help others, definitely that business is definitely going to, go. So you have to help, apart from passion that we all have and the other things and keep going, we also have to go into a business that's really going to help the other people, because then definitely the business is going. The other thing is, I always say, is whatever you're going into, whatever business you're starting up, skilling, just go in. You have to go into skilling, upskilling, and go on skilling, because, everything is changing so fast. So helping people, skilling, passion, I think and celebration, of course, that was there. We all need to celebrate. So that is something that is very important.
Thank you so much, everyone. While closing the panel, we have some takeaway words. One is passion, there's resilience, there's skilling, upskilling, getting paid for what you do, and definitely celebrations. With that note, thank you so much for listening to the panel. Thank you so much.